We weren't expecting to be at Towson this coming up weekend, but due to some travel and then COVID issues, we ended up having to cancel 2 meets. So, but we're very grateful that Towson was able to put us on the schedule for this weekend. It's an easy trip. We started the year there. It's a great venue, so we're excited to go. And I know the team is looking forward to fixing some of the mistakes that we had there when we started the season. And I think it's a great place to get a great score. And Towson obviously is doing very well as well this year. So, and then we also had, the double weekend plan, which we try to do that getting ready for postseason. And so that gives us an opportunity. We just ended up moving it to this weekend for a Saturday evening meet and then a Monday evening meet, which really does mimic our postseason kind of schedule for competition. So we're excited. We get to make, like I said, the easy trip to Towson and hopefully get a great road score and then come back here and host 2 great teams here in the Coliseum and on Monday night and be able to, put on a great show for the fans and also secure another great score.
Yeah, absolutely. That was actually going to be one of my questions. Obviously, the season opening meet at Towson didn't go exactly the way we wanted to. So how is the kind of the focus for the team that we get the chance now to go back there and, like you said, kind of fix some things? I realize you kind of touched on this, but just kind of the mindset of that opportunity to fix some mistakes, I guess.
Yeah, it's, my mindset, going into this weekend has been, obviously, when we were there before, we started on bars. This time we're going to end on bars, so that it's still going to be fresh in all of our memories, but especially those, that had mistakes at the first meet. And then starting on beam, which we will this weekend at Towson, is also can be tough mentally, for some athletes. Personally, I like it because you get beam out of the way, and then you can move on to floor, which is our strongest event. So it's a good time to recover if we do have any mistakes. But so that's kind of my mindset going into it. But really, it's more of just we've been flirting with that great score, and I know that we have the potential to score higher, and Towson's a good place to do it. And we've got to go in and put together a complete competition. And I think if we can make that happen at Towson, we'll see, a score that reflects that. And so that's my mindset going into both of the meets this weekend.
Travis, any thoughts on kind of what you're thinking for this weekend?
I always joke because everybody knows that I'm a really competitive person. The team knows that about me. And I'm looking for them to be competitors. It's a little bit of they're almost too nice as a group. So we're trying to get a little bit of fight to come out in them and realize that they're fantastic athletes. They've got great gymnastics to bring to the table. So I think that's all I'm doing is trying to push them to realize that ability. And I think they're doing that more in the gym than what we saw in last year, but actually last month too. So they're getting more comfortable in those routines. Now it's time to push them mentally and make sure that when we go out to compete, we get the strongest product to put out there for the fans. So they're getting there. We just gotta, I think sometimes fans don't realize that, to put yourself out there on the stage and where you're the one person everybody's watching, it does take a toll on nerves. And part of our job is to make sure to get them comfortable to handle those nerves. But I think we're doing a really great job at practice to make that happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of expanding on what both of you touched on. We've been talking the last couple of weeks about hitting that 24 for 24, getting all the routines. And like you said, we've just kind of been flirting with it. What's the missing piece? What still needs to happen for everyone to kind of have the confidence to put that 24 for 24 performance together?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Jason. I think, in years past, we've hit that 24 for 24, but we are really trying as a program not to water down. You can see that for us, we can miss a beam, routine, and we can still score at comparable scores to where we've had when we've hit meets in the past. Our goal is to make sure not only that we're hitting, which is where we want to be, but that we're super relevant with our skill level with some of those top ranking programs. So I think that that's been really challenging, because not only are we trying to be consistent, but we're trying to be consistent as a really high level, and there's risk and reward involved. So I think that's where a little bit of the challenge is because you see on beam, some of those girls, they're triple flights, they're aggressive flights, we're ending with double backs on floors, Abby's going for the 1.5 on vault. And so it's a higher level of gymnastics, and that has higher risk. So I'm proud of them because we do want to take the program forward, but it's more difficult.
Yeah, definitely. Jason, anything to add to that? Or
no, I agree with everything Travis said. And for me, it's just trying to convince them that that what you see in competition, they do every day at the gym, and they do it multiple times in the gym. And so I just try to keep them in the same mindset that a competition is practice. You've done this already thousands of times, and the good thing is, it's actually a double-edged sword. The mistakes that we are seeing in competition are easy mistakes to fix, physically, but they mentally sometimes can be the hardest to deal with, because they have to be super focused to avoid some of these mistakes that we're making. So like Travis said, it's risk and reward. It is mentally challenging on them and very taxing. But that's what the coaches are for. We just got to find the right balance.
yeah, absolutely. Just one more from me. We're not really back-to-back home weekend, back-to-back weekends, but not back-to-back meets. It was supposed to be back-to-back. But the first time this season that we haven't had a home meet and then a big stretch and then back home. Talk about how talk about the crowd from Friday night a little bit, and how that home energy helps the girls in competition, and just kind of having that motivation and the crowd behind you, since we'll have another home meet coming up this week.
Yeah, it was the crowd was absolutely amazing. And coming off last year where we were either didn't have a crowd or it was limited due to COVID, that was so awesome to see. And I think some of the things that really stood out to me was in the song Single Ladies, or no, Who Runs the World, Beyonce, and seeing all the little girls dancing in the stands, and then the country roads at the end, and everybody that stuck around to be a part of that tradition for winning. The team feeds off of that energy, and we obviously bring a lot of our own energy into the competition, but there's nothing quite like hitting the floor, sticking a pass, a ball, whatever it is, and hearing those people in the background cheering. And it's neat for me to watch the crowd, because a lot of them sit there in awe watching these athletes. They're just like, wow, how do they do this? And seeing it in person is even more impressive than seeing it on TV or a web stream. So I hope they can make it out on Monday night. That would be awesome. And like I said, the crowd this past weekend sort of set the bar. And, for the season, I would love to see more people, more loud. And, our team can act a little bit ridiculous at competitions, and we encourage them to be that way. And I encourage the crowd to do the same thing.